In 2010, NASA completed an assessment of the Earth's climate and they arrived at a startling conclusion. In this century, nearly 40% of the natural ecosystems on Earth will change to become something else. That means that nearly half of the forests, grasslands, and tundra we sportsmen like to hunt and fish on will change dramatically in our children's lifetime. As sportsmen, we must ask ourselves what those changes will look like and why are they happening. In the West, answers to these questions are as varied as the geography, but we are certainly beginning to see evidence of the changes. For example, when you think of Montana's Yellowstone River, the longest free-flowing stream in the lower 48, you imagine cool, pristine waters with trout hiding behind colorful rocks. And when the explorer John Coulter first laid eyes on the region in 1807, that is what it must have looked like. However, in just the past 20 years, smallmouth bass have moved up the Yellowstone nearly 40 miles, benefiting from waters that are flowing warmer, slower, and lower, and replacing trout. Drier and warmer weather patterns are having much of an effect across the Rockies. In Oregon, we find that fire, a natural force which is often friendly to nature, has taken on a new meaning, and it's not a good one. As Oregon's sagebrush steppe environment has become warmer, fire frequency has increased. Non-native cheatgrass quickly invades the spaces left by the fire and creates a mat so dense that native plants used by wildlife cannot come back. Because the ground becomes so thoroughly covered by dying cheatgrass, it unnaturally burns again, creating a hot and vicious cycle. They may not seem too threatening yet when looked at individually, but when taken together they represent a clear trend and indicator of the ecosystem changes predicted by NASA. What's more, their cause is tied to a changing climate that is impacting weather patterns, temperature averages, water levels, and wildlife movements. Sportsmen, those of us who are most often out on the land, are often some of the first to notice the effects that our changing climate is having on hunting and fishing opportunities. The solution to the climate change challenge must include reducing the level of carbon dioxide and nitrogen being emitted into the atmosphere and managing habitat to allow fish and wildlife to adapt to the changing climate. What we and our policymakers do going forward to address these changes will have far-reaching impacts on our ability and the ability of generations to come to continue enjoying our incomparable outdoors and sporting traditions. To learn more about how climate change is affecting fish and wildlife habitat and how you as a sportsman can help policymakers and state agencies adapt to those changes, please pay a visit to the website of the Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership at www.trcp.org.